You eat. Opportunity for anyone who's never tried Motor Up to try it now risk-free. It's so easy. Just add one bottle to your car's engine and you'll see, feel, and hear a difference almost immediately.
Without a doubt, it's definitely running cooler.
And it's running quieter.
This doesn't shake at all. Look at it.
It's definitely running smoother.
Use Motor Up and you'll get the same amazing results. And because you don't have to change your oil to add Motor Up, you'll save time and money. Before you spend more on costly repairs, call this number now. Put Motor Up to the test and see for yourself. This incredible 30-day free trial offer won't last long, so call now.
This Storm Watch is sponsored by Touchtone Energy. We do have some showers and some thunderstorms still roaming in through parts of Iowa and Minnesota. In fact, it is thunderstorming now in International Falls with a temperature of only 37 degrees. It's a sign of the times, I guess. And we have some rain in New England we'll talk about as well. Let's talk about the tropics first of all, though. Things pretty active in the Pacific. Not in the Atlantic right now, but in the Pacific. But let's start off, of course, in the Atlantic. We are still firmly embedded in the downside, so to speak, climatologically speaking, of the Atlantic tropical season. The season doesn't officially end until the end of November. But anytime really after the middle of October, where we are now, things generally decrease as far as frequency of tropical systems. And what really is precluding development right now in through the Atlantic, and you can kind of get a little bit of a hint of that by how fast these clouds are moving, are very strong westerly winds across the Gulf and most of the Caribbean, and even out here into the Atlantic. Things just are not conducive for tropical development. You would look for flow in the opposite direction from east to west. In this case, the winds have really, the westerlies have dipped very, very far toward the south. Again, there is a secondary peak, if you will, maximum of storms in the Atlantic in October, usually around the middle of the month, about now. But then after that, look how steeply the curve drops as we look back over the years and average everything out. And by November, things have really quieted down. So again, we are on the downside of the season, but we have to be vigilant of anything potentially developing. But as long as these strong westerly winds continue across the Gulf and the Caribbean, there really isn't much of a chance of anything developing. So some good news there. Now, to be sure, we have some squally weather, and we have had in the Leeward and Windward Islands. That has now been pulled to the north. And out here in the middle of the Atlantic, let me step over here so you can get a little bit of a better perspective of this. That's a pretty impressive looking cluster of thunderstorms, two big batches of them really. But the winds again kind of splitting here from the southwest and then toward the southeast. Really not conducive as this tropical wave heads westbound into these winds. We're not looking for any kind of significant development. Notice how the cloud tops kind of blow off here toward the northeast. Again, nothing's going to develop there of a tropical nature, at least of any depression or storm anytime soon. That's the same system we were just looking at. Here's the African coast. Again, the Cape, so-called Cape Verde season, we are beyond that as the westerlies have dipped far enough to the south to start to shear these waves apart. But we do have a new tropical depression in the Pacific, and other, or I should say, I'm looking for a word and I can't find it here. But in contrast, I guess, to the tropical storm and hurricane that we had, Kay, which we'll talk about in just a moment, which was well away from any landmass, this one's a lot closer to the Central American coast. This is Tropical Depression 14E, centered at 11.4, 91.7. We're about 660 miles southeast of Acapulco, Mexico. Winds at 35 and moving west at 5, but we think there is a very good chance that this is going to be a tropical storm and eventually perhaps even a hurricane. You can see the rotation here very plainly. There is a definite low-level circulation, and we're starting to get more convection wrapping around this system. It won't be long, I don't think, before we may have ourselves a new tropical storm here. Guatemalan coast right here. This is the Gulf of Tehuantepec in southern and southwest Mexico. You need to monitor this situation very closely. No watches or warnings are up at the present time, but maybe eventually if this system drifts more toward the northwest, which it might, it'll get close to the Mexican coast. So this is something we have to watch extremely closely. Tropical Depression 14 could very shortly become a tropical storm. This system will need to be watched as well. Not a tropical depression yet, but there could be a small low-level circulation here southwest of Acapulco and south of Puerto Vallarta. Now there's the aforementioned Tropical Depression K, which is out in the middle of nowhere out here. It was a hurricane only earlier today, but quickly got downgraded as it has pretty much lost a lot of its convection or thunderstorm action. So we'll think that'll dissipate soon. And let's quickly go to a close-up of our typhoon out here, Zeb, which has weakened significantly after blasting Luzon last night.
It's Weather Rewind as rain returns to saturated areas of the Northeast. How long will it last and where is it headed next? The answer is coming up on Weather Center.
This program was sponsored by Touchstone Energy. We are America's electric cooperatives.
Partnership means growth. That's the way it's been for America's electric co-ops and America's businesses and communities. We've always kept affordable power flowing steadily and reliably. Now, we're joining other local co-ops to form a nationwide alliance, Touchstone Energy, to ensure state-of-the-art technology and personalized service. It's the power of human connections. We are America's electric cooperatives.